There is also a private jet group chat, which is like drivers sharing planes. I wonder how it works though, because a lot of our managers are involved in it. And if a driver has a bad race, or a driver crashes into another driver and they're on the same plane, does that driver then go to another driver's plane and fly with another group of drivers? Who knows? Hey, I'm Alex Albon, Williams F1 racing driver, and I'm getting up close with Cosmo. My friends would describe me off the track as quiet, stupid, and late. The latest I've ever been to something, no, not that bad. It's normally for anything marketing related, so I'll let time fly. An hour? I'm not even that bad. 30 minutes. I would say biggest challenges so far this season for us have been just managing expectations. We went into this season expecting a little bit more, so we've got a job now to try to dig deep and do better. My favourite moment so far this season would have been Monaco. The weekend as a whole, I love Monaco as a racetrack, but also we got our first points for the year, so a big relief and a big weight off our shoulders, considering the tough start we had. Silverstone will always be special to me because I started racing there. I was 7 years old, turning 8 when I got my first racing license. You have to do some laps around a go-kart track and answer some questions about racing. That's how you get it. And I was at one of the corners. They had a school, and so my mum and dad took me and I passed. So it all started there. It is cool. I actually remember as well at the same time there was a Formula 1 test happening that day. So as I was in my little go-kart, I could hear the F1 car driving around. This noise that was quite almost intimidating, just how loud it was. And yeah, I knew that was what I wanted to do. If I did a podcast outside of the ones we do, it would be about travel and food. Maybe animals. I guess I have a soft spot. But there would be a lot of rambling. Like, none of it would make sense. I want to explore Japan more. I've been to Tokyo and we go to Suzuka to race, so it's always nice to go around there, but I'd love to explore the different cities around. I'd love to go to Hokkaido as well. I'm traveling more in Europe. I think my girlfriend and I, we're planning a road trip around Europe this year for summer break, so that would be nice. I mean, the latest one, the most hardcore one, would have been the Charles Leclerc screaming one. That's become iconic. Other than that, any George Russell meme's a good meme. I mean, you'll always get a chuckle from me out of one of them. I know George doesn't spend much time on social media, so he would be less aware than you would think, but he's still aware. For sure, he's still aware. And if he's not aware, I make sure he's aware. How fast have you ever gone? Which is a valid question. It's just race cars, especially Formula 1 cars. The speed is nothing. It's the cornering speed that makes it so impressive. The fastest I've ever been would be 250 miles an hour, maybe. Not. See? Boring answer. I think people often mistake the glamour of Formula 1. They see it, they obviously see the shows that we're on with Netflix and whatnot, and they must probably see it quite PJs and nice hotels, all this kind of thing. I was flying back from Austria last week. The amount of fans at the airport shocked to see us flying commercial with them. It's pretty normal, at least for most of the drivers. So I don't struggle with motivation. I don't struggle with the bad race results. It doesn't really get me into a downward spiral. So generally speaking, it motivates me more to make sure for the next race I don't have that experience again. So mental health is a big talking point in Formula 1 drivers. Competition, I think, as athletes as well. Firstly, my girlfriend's also a golfer and athlete, so it's always nice to be able to speak to someone who understands your position, what competition feels like, and the pressures that you put yourself and the people around under, as well as a psychologist. I have a psychologist which I work with closely, so there's little things like that, and it's just life experience too. I feel like as I've gotten older, just matured more, it's naturally been much easier to cope with the stresses of what I do. It's a good question because it's something I've always struggled with it, especially in the beginning of my racing career. Is you create this environment around you that there's a lot of external noise, a lot of external pressure, people saying things, media asking you questions, and how do you avoid it? And that's, in some ways you can't, and it's just a necessity, and it's something you have to understand to deal with. What's really important, and it's something that I've learned as I've gotten older, is building a team around you that kind of creates a bubble and you trust and you feel that support around. When I started, I felt a little bit vulnerable because I was a little bit by myself. So that now is kind of your core group, and you just work between each other and bounce off each other and ignore the world around, because it is a big team sport, but at the end of the day it's such a non-team sport as well. It's so individual in terms of your performance, and you're competing against your teammate and 19 other drivers, but as soon as one of them do better than you, you're at a risk of losing your job. So I have a team inside of a team, basically. It's definitely something, this whole social media around girlfriends is quite unique, and something which has picked up, especially with the younger audience and newer audience that we've got in Formula One. It's something which I also feel the girlfriends themselves are getting used to. It's quite new, and a lot of them are just normal people, just with racing driver boyfriends, I guess. Yeah, it's not easy. I have to say, it's not easy for them. I do feel empathetic towards the public eye. I'm personally someone who doesn't enjoy the public eye too much. I try to stay relatively private. I'm very fortunate as well. Lily, she's an amazing, accomplished athlete, and so we share our experiences online, but definitely something which I don't envy. I'm quite an awkward person, and I'm very good at putting all awkward things away, so I can't think of anything awkward, but I'm sure the team behind this camera could give you a million examples. I just live in my awkwardness. I'd say there's two things that stand out. The first thing would be working with charities. I've been able to focus and have time to work with amazing charities that help, especially towards Thailand, less fortunate children, orphanages and things like that. And the other thing is my merch, so a bit more of a creative outlet for me, but something which I've been working with my team around, having some fun with, and this week we've got, for the launch of Silverstone, my pets merch, so it's a bit of cute, bit of fun, and I like it. There is a Formula One driver group chat. It's very business orientated though. I would say it's 90% business, 10% memes. It's more around safety and general day-to-days that, for example, we'll complain about the toilets being bad at a racetrack or something like that, which has no relevance, but I guess it's a bit of a global ranting forum, let's say. Yeah, it's definitely separate group chats, but it's more around our hobbies. So there's like a paddle group chat, a golf group chat. As I was speaking before about drivers flying commercial, there is also a private jet group chat, which is like drivers sharing planes. I wonder how it works though, because a lot of our managers are involved in it. And if a driver has a bad race, or a driver crashes into another driver and they're on the same plane, I haven't had that done yet to me, but does that driver then go to another driver's plane and fly with another group of drivers? Who knows? Last Sunday, I was on the flight with Lando, Carlos and Daniel, but Max wasn't on our flight, so they were never supposed to be flying together. I got into hair dyeing because it was for charity. It was because some orphans basically decided it was a great idea. They were actually in a process of learning to become hairdressers. So as they were ending their time at the orphanage, they go into real jobs around the city, around Bangkok. And so they were training to become hairdressers, and they wanted to dye my hair red. So they dyed my hair red, and I scored points. So it was clearly good luck. And then this started an upwards trend of me dyeing my hair all the time. So I went through a 1.5 year period of dyeing my hair, which totally destroyed my hair. And it's still destroyed. Like, my hair has never recovered since that moment. So I'm trying to give it some time to rest. If I score a win, if I have a win at Williams, then we can consider Williams blue. But until that moment, I will look awful with blue hair. I just know it. I won't include myself. I take no responsibility for best hair. Everyone goes to Carlos, which I think is fair. He's got that good Spanish hair genetic going on. I think Lando's up to his game. recently. I think he's got himself a good barber. But I think Carlos, he's got the most naturally good hair. Have you ever seen Turbo, the movie? The snail? And it's got like super speed. Turbo. There's not like one race that stands out to me, but in terms of an era of car, I would love to try and drive the 1980s kind of manual style super turbo cars. I don't think I would do well in them, but why not? I'm not sure if I would like to be a team principal, no. I think their jobs are difficult, and I don't think I'd be good at firing people. So that's my 2 cents. I think Toto Wolff must give Headmaster energy. I feel like we've all had a Headmaster similar to Toto. He's just got that kind of like deep voice. The most intensive thing I've done for training, I did it 2 years ago. Basically, I had appendicitis, and I tried to get ready to be racing fit in about 2 weeks to race in Singapore, which was the most physical race of the year that we do. In that process, I had a complication with my lungs, and they basically had to put me into a coma, an induced coma. So my lungs were filled up with blood for the most part, and for the 2 weeks I was trying to get back to racing fit. So I kind of was battling 2 things at once, my stomach, but also my lungs. I remember the first week was a disaster. The second week, pretty much on the Tuesday, so we fly out on a Wednesday normally for a race weekend. On the Tuesday I did some physical tests, and I was kind of like half there. We committed, and then we thought to ourselves, by the time we rest on Wednesday and Thursday before practice on Friday, we'll be okay, and just about finished it. If I could have any pet in the world, I'm gonna Tiger King it. get a baby tiger. No, I'll get a micro pig. Yes, I think it's Carlos. I think from what I've understood, he's good at football, he's good at golf, he's the most rounded. I think in terms of motorsport and driving, I think Lewis is very talented on a bike, so a motorbike. So it depends what avenue you go down. My favourite sport outside of F1 is definitely golf. My girlfriend is my teacher, and she got me into it, so yeah. I have something around last minute changes. I don't like when there's a timetable and then things have to change at the end. I have no road rage. I'm super relaxed. I actually applaud when I see people, you know, when they're kind of everyone's in a lane, and then you've got that guy or girl who drives around and cuts in last minute. I applaud them. I go, great move. I wish I did that. That was creative. That was a good, you saved yourself time. I agree it's bad etiquette, but I respect the game. I respect you've done it. I wish I thought of it. That's not to say that I am one of them. I wouldn't say I'm the greatest cook. I rely more on my girlfriend to do the cooking. I'm just the guy who chops everything up and puts all the ingredients in a bowl. But very good at lemon pancakes. That's my go-to, as well as generally curries. Like I can make a good Thai red curry. But in terms of Thai food, I'm not that great. Also because, to my defense, when you go to the south of France, there are not that many Asian supermarkets where you can just get Thai ingredients. So, not my fault. A good boss is always very helpful, yes. In our sport, that communication between driver and team boss is very important. I think James and I, we are very on the same page when we talk about the areas we need to improve in our team. So that's great. The communication is great. He's also a driver. He enjoys driving. So we have a good bit of banter around his talent level, which is actually surprisingly high. That's something in part of the reason why I stayed at Williams. Thank you for watching. Peace.